another segment of the Drexel Seymour Show, where we want to encourage you to rise up and take your position. You know, today we are going to talk about single parents, single parenting. And most times when you hear about single parenting, you know, at least for me, from my perspective, it's about a female, a mother, raising her children in a single home. And I wanted to do a show from a different angle. I wanted to do a show with single parenting from a male's perspective, where the father is raising the children. And I want to do several shows on this. So this, I will consider this will be part one of a show on single parenting from a male perspective, where males are raising their children. And so I'm grateful for this opportunity to have Mr. Kelo Capron, who, you know, I was looking for the show. I was looking for guests for the show. I talked around to different individuals, and almost everybody I spoke to, they said, "Oh, you need to have Mr. Capron on your show." Now there are other people as well that are being recommended, particularly on the island of North Caicos. I plan to go to North Caicos just to interview some single fathers there, which will be part two. But today we'll focus on Mr. Capron. Now prior to the show, this is my first time meeting Mr. Capron. I did meet him, you know, through WhatsApp, you know, inviting him on the show. But this is my first time physically meeting him. But I want Mr. Capron to introduce himself to you, the viewers, who is Mr. Capron, how many children he has, and we're gonna get later into the conversation how it was raising those children that he has. Mr. Capron, welcome to my show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Tell us who you are.
Well, my name is Kelo Capron. I was born and raised in Grand Turk. You know, I was raised by my mom, my grandma, and my aunt. Because my dad, you know, he moved to the States when I was about 4 or 5. But he left me in the care of his mom and his sister.
Okay.
Right, so for me, when it comes to parenting, I learned a lot from them. You know, I was raised by females, so I learned how to wash, cook, and clean at a very early age. Right.
So so I guess that would be considered single parenting too, right?
Right.
Because your dad wasn't there.
Right.
You know, so you were raised in a single parent dad as
Right,
well.
you can say that, yes. Yes.
Mr. Capron, how many children? Well, tell us, where do you work? I mean, tell us about your background.
Well, right now I always work 2 jobs since 2004. I worked 2 jobs until 2019. I took a break in 2019 for about a year. I took a break. And right now I'm employed at the airport. I've been at the airport for about 15 years.
Okay.
Right, and I just started, you know, the night job again at another location.
Okay.
I was at another hotel for about going on 15 years on the overnight shift. Right, and doing so, it was a bit rough at times because being a father, you need to be there.
Yeah.
You know, not because you're in the house means that, you know, you're following your kids.
That's true.
Right, because sometimes, you know, I'm there by the time they get up, I take them to school. By the time I get from another job, I pick them up, they go to bed. But before they go to bed, I'm out again. And I remember one time coming home, I had my 2 oldest girls here at the time. They live in Florida now. And she's like, "Man, Daddy, you know, he's always going." You know, and I felt some kind of way about that.
Yeah.
But at the time, you know, I had to provide.
Yeah, you needed that second income.
Exactly.
You have to pay the bills.
Right, because I don't go around asking for handouts. You know, as a father, when I became a father, my father told me, you know, he said, "Don't ever let your kids go sleep hungry." So for me, my main thing is to provide and to protect. That's one of my main things. And doing the 2 jobs, it was a bit sketchy because I wasn't able to spend time with them. Right. So, and they noticed that. And sometimes, you know, the mom will come to me like, "Hey, you know, you need to spend more time," because the little time that I had, I try to get sleep because I needed the rest.
Yeah, have those 2 jobs.
Right.
So Kelo, to get go to Kelo?
Sure.
Okay. How many children do you have?
15. Proud father of 15.
15 biological children?
Yes, sir. 9 boys and 6 girls.
Wow.
I have 11 that lives with me full time.
Wow.
Full time. So my day starts at 5 a.m.
Wow. You know, my wife and I, we have 5 children. And I just can't even imagine 11 children.
11 children. But I'm married now, so I have, my wife assistant. But even before her, this is something that I was always doing.
Yeah. How long have you been married?
Just a year, going
Just
on
a
2
year.
years.
Oh, okay.
Going on 2 years. And this is something I've been doing, from day one. So whoever I bring into my life, female, I don't expect them to take over, or push that weight on them. Because me as a father, like I say, I'm the provider, I'm the protector. I try to do 95% of whatever it takes when it comes to, preparing for the kids, the home, or just in general, whatever it is. So even, my wife, people will say, oh, why is she marrying him? He had 15 kids and this, that. Yeah, yes, that's my wife, but since she come in, I tell her the same thing.
And she knew about those children anyway before she agreed to marry you.
Right, right, but it doesn't change. I still get up, 5 a.m. If she can get up and she can help, if she want to help to cook or whatever, she can.
Right.
But I always be the first one to do it. If she come and she assists, yes. But like I said, it starts from 5 in the morning. I get up at 5, she gets up, but I'm already up because I leave my other job at 5. So by the time I get home, it's about 5:15.
Okay.
We start from there, preparing lunch, breakfast. By 7 o'clock, I have everybody out of the door.
Okay, so let's go back now. Let's go to typical day. So you get up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, from 5 a.m., I give them until about 5, but I get home about 5:15 because I leave my other job at 5.
Okay, so you get home 5:15 a.m. Okay. Oh, okay.
From the second job.
Okay, I was thinking 5 p.m. 15. Okay, so you get home 5:15 a.m. And then you start the day again.
Right.
And then what do you do? You
Well, once I get home, the wife, she already have them who's in the shower, they start. So I will just fall in line, starting preparing lunch, breakfast, everything else, making sure that the uniforms and everything is in order.
But before you got married, okay, I know you say your wife's preparing out the shop. Before you got married, tell us how it was.
Well, before I got married, I had, my girlfriend at the time, she was there, but I would come home and do the same thing. If she, she wanted to assist, of course, but I didn't make her feel like she was obligated to that.
So
right, because the children is mine, not hers.
Right.
Right, so I don't want you to feel like, hey, I don't, no demand, do this, no. I don't want to, put that on anybody because it's not easy. Right.
So you prepare the breakfast.
Breakfast.
You iron the clothes.
I do all the ironing. My weekends, like today on a Sunday, that's when I mostly do my
You
ironing.
must be tired some days though.
Yeah, I be tired, but I know what it's something that I have to do.
You have accepted your responsibility.
Exactly, I accept it to the highest, and once I get into it, the tiredness is no longer there.
Because you know you're doing this for your children.
Right, I'm doing it for them. This is my everything. I mean, the teachers, everybody, they always come to me, hey, you're a great father. What I would like to tell people out there, your children is a reflection of you.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, when they wasn't living with me, sometimes I ain't saying like to downgrade their mom in any way. I don't speak negative to them about their mom or vice versa.
You shouldn't, yeah.
Right. But when they go to school, if they're uniform or if they don't have lunch, I'll tell the teacher, hey, here's my number, call me. Because sometimes, me and the mom, we're going through things and the child will suffer.
Yeah.
I mean, they got me on child support. Yes, I'll pay the child support or whatever, but even though I pay the child support, I still pick them up from school. I don't have to. I can be like, okay, well, I've been giving you child support. I shouldn't have to pick the kids up. No. For me, I want to make sure they eat.
Yeah.
I want to know what they have for lunch.
Yeah.
As a father, not because you're in the house, you're fathering the kid, but as a father, I think it's your job to find out what's going on in your child life. You go to the teacher, find out, hey, how's his grades? How was her grades? Just basic stuff. And it goes a long way. When you pick them up from school, you ask them how their day was.
Yeah.
And we as parents, we will look at the children and say, okay, I am the father, what I say goes.
Yeah.
You will be amazed if you sit that child down and talk to him, because when it comes to discipline them, I don't like discipline them. I use the word correction.
Yeah.
Well, I correct them, like the Bible says.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I don't beat them, but when I beat them, a day or two later, I bring them in as like, hey, this is the reason why I explain to them.
Yeah.
I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have that. I never did drugs because my old man asked me to. He asked me not to. The first time I went over to visit him, I was 8. And I remember him sitting me on the hood of his car, and he's like, you like it here? He's like, yes. He said, I want you to make me one promise. Promise me that you will never ever do drugs. And he explained to me what it is, even though in school they was telling you this, but it was going through 1 year. But as a father, when he speaks, it almost becomes law. You feel it. So when he tells me, he's like, listen, I don't want you to do drugs. I'll have you out here every summer. And we made a pinky swear. And he didn't remember that. I moved over 8 years when I was 16, 8 years later.
Wow.
And he didn't remember until I tell him that. He's like, that's the only reason why you didn't. I was like, that's the only reason why.
That's great. That is great.
Right.
Now, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned most times you hear about, mothers raising their children. And you say you had 11 children physically in your home. How were you able to get those children with you and widen up with their mothers? I'm just curious. I mean, how is it to do that?
Okay, one of their moms, she has 6 kids from me, and they were living with her. And based on the living condition, she got into some trouble, and I don't want to get too deep.
No,
right. So I was there. And I told them, I was like, listen, I want to have my kids. They can come with me because they're looking for someone to test. They know, oh no, they're gonna come with me. And that was one situation. The other one, she has 3. With her, she had, sometimes she have little issues, thinking and just stress on the whole, because everybody needs a break.
Yeah.
Right. So with her situation, I was like, okay, until you can sort yourself out, I'll keep my kids. And I had them for about 3 or 4 years now. From time to time, she would get them on the weekend or every month. Out of the month, she'd take them like on 2 weekends. But I go and I take them back, I bring them home, and we discuss things. And then there's the other one, she has 2 boys from me. She was living with her sister at the time, and her sister lost her house. So I was like, well, they have to come with me. And with all of them, they want to be with me.
You're a great father.
They want to be with me.
You're a great father. And that's awesome.
Right, and not just my kids, because I have a female friend. She's raising a son, and his father is not there. But she will bring him along, he'll come by me, he'll spend the night. And once he's there, and he don't want to go, he don't want to leave. So that tells me I'm doing something right as a father.
People are watching you, because as I say in the show, I want to do the show so badly for many months now. I didn't know who to approach, and everybody say, you have to ask Kelo Capron, and that's when I catch you. Now, what about your other 4 children? I guess with their mothers?
With their moms, 2 here. The oldest 2, they lives in Florida, but the other 2 that is here, on the weekend, if I can get them, I'll communicate with the mothers. Hey, I want them for the weekend, and I'll have them for the weekend as well. And then it's just one big happy family. Yeah. And family is everything for me. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. And I just want them to know who they are, who their brothers and sisters are.
That's great.
I try to keep everybody, together. Yeah. People always come and ask me, man, I don't see how you do it. Yeah. 1 is by the grace of God. Yeah. 2, the motivation, they motivate me. I don't want them to go through what I've been through. Not saying that I had a bad life, but any parent would want the best for their child. Yeah. Right. So when it comes to doing stuff or whatever, I do it from my heart.
Yeah, I don't know you, but I feel it. So how old were you when you first became a father?
19.
You're 19. And so what are the age range of your kids now?
The oldest is the 2 oldest. They go on 21 and 22. Because they're a year apart. They'll be 21 and 22 in a few weeks.
Okay, and your youngest?
The youngest is 2.
So you have from
2 going on to 22. But the 2-year-old, that she doesn't live with me. She lives with her mom.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
The youngest that lives with me is 4. He's 4.
So how do you? I know you have the 2 jobs. You
Mhm.
make sure kids do their homework. You want to have conversations with them. How do you balance everything?
And I mean, that's a good question because when it comes to balancing that, I mean, it's a bit tricky, you know. So what I do is that, well, my wife now, because I'm married, she assists them more with their homework and stuff. If it's something that needs to be dealt with, she will call me, and if I'm at work, I'll drop whatever I'm doing. Hey, okay, I need your opinion on this, or I need you to come home to deal with this, or to deal with the other one. But with especially like the older ones, you know, boys and girls, they different. Everybody have the different personality. So that's why I urge parents, you know, to talk to their children, because for you to learn their child, you have to ask them. If I want to know something about you, I have to ask you, and you tell me, okay, hey, this is that, this is the other. So what I do, sometimes I have like a board meeting. Kids call it, you know, the tabletop meeting. I will call everybody around the table. Hey, how is this? How is that? Because with me, I'm a no-nonsense person.
Okay.
Right. So it's kind of hard for them to open up to me. When
So
it comes
you
to
talk to
certain
them in front of them? I mean, you don't talk to them individually?
things. Individually, yeah. Depends on what the situation is.
Okay.
I'll pull them aside. But I try to just to get it in there, you know, just to hear their opinion on certain things. So I try to make it fun. You know, I'll bring all of them together. Hey, what is this, or what is that? How do you feel about this? And they will still, you know, kind of be, you know, a little hesitant because they're afraid of me. You know, and that's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you want them to come to you with anything. You want them to be open with you, especially the girls. And I remember my oldest daughter, they was here about, she probably was about 15, and it was her time of the month. So the younger one, which is a year younger, she came to me, she's like, Daddy, you know, hey, Tanya now, she's saying that it's her time of the month and she don't have the stuff to, you know.
Right.
So I was like, okay, why didn't she come to me? She's like, she's scared. I was like, okay. I took her to IGA. On the way up there, she's not saying anything. So I just took her to IGA and I asked her, you know, is it light or is it heavy? And she's like, Dad, how do you know about all this stuff? You know, so I just take her as like, okay, you need this one, this is what you need to use. And I put it under my arm and we walking through the store. Yeah, we walking through the store. She's like, oh man, I can't believe you're doing this. I was like, yeah, I'm your father.
Wow. That is
Right, so I try to make it fun where they can be open with me. So right now, you know, the oldest girls, they come to me with just about anything. Hey, Dad.
So you have a great relationship with your children.
Right, because I learned that from my father. Even though he wasn't here in Grand Turk with me, he was still a big part of my life.
He communicated with you by
Yes.
phone, whatever, even though he wasn't physically in the classroom, in the house. But, you know, he communicated. Okay, so that's good to know.
Right, you know, and to the single mothers out there, you might have an uncle or even a next door neighbor, you know, who can assist you in that area, because with us growing up without fathers, I mean, it's hard to do certain things, to teach your kids something that you didn't learn from your father.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm the superhero. You know, you want to tell your kids, don't drink, don't smoke, but at the same time, you have a joint in your hand or you have a beer in your hand, it confuses them. I don't drink, I don't smoke, never did any form of drug. And it starts from my childhood, being the first child. You know, I wanted to lead by example. My brothers and sisters that's coming up, you know, I was like, you know, hey, I am the oldest on my mom and dad's side. I have to lead by example.
Yeah.
So I never did it.
Right.
Never.
That is great. I mean, never drink, never smoke.
Well, I drank before, but it was in school, you know, twice. The second time was with my old man with just a glass of wine.
Right.
And I mean, I couldn't eat for 2 days. So that was it for me. And this was like 1997. And I never touched it again. I never smoked. Not any form of drug. because of what he
The
told me.
promise you made to your
The
father.
promise I made. He didn't hold up his end of the bargain because he told me, hey, I'll have you every year, to visit. But I didn't get to go every year, but I didn't hold it against him.
Right.
And sometimes we as kids, we try to, we tend to hold things against our
Very
parents.
vengeful again.
Right. If you didn't have a father in your life, try to be better.
Yeah.
Don't be okay. Oh, my daddy didn't do this, so I ain't gonna do this. No, try to be better.
Yeah. It's not gonna make the life.
Don't use it as an excuse.
Got it.
Right. So for me, I didn't use it as a negative. I used it as a positive.
Yeah.
Hey, if I didn't have this, I want to do something different.
Right.
Right. So I try to break that cycle.
Yeah.
Right.
That is awesome. Now I imagine that the 11 children that you have staying with you are going to different schools.
Mhm.
I don't know, are they going to the same school? Because how do you manage
Well, that's
the
what
transportation?
I have
To schools.
from primary school. I have everybody going to the same school.
Oh, so everybody go to the same school?
Right, but now I have 3 in high school, and I just had my oldest son finish Clement Howard. Right, so everybody is going to the same school.
Okay, so
Everybody.
that would make it easier for transportation.
Much easier.
You don't have to drop this one, drop that one.
No, so it's easier for me in that way. And right now, I don't have to go a long way because the bus comes right behind me. The bus comes
Okay.
right next to me. So the
Okay.
ones that go Clement Howard now, not Clement Howard, Long Bay
So Long
High,
Bay High.
they will
They
get
catch
the
the
bus. The other 7, I will take them to the school. If I can't go, then my wife will take them.
Okay.
But 90% of the time, I will take them to school. I will pick them up. When I pick them up, I'm asking the questions. Hey, how was your day?
Right.
Whatever it is, because that's the stuff they remember.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I pick my kids up. I drop them. Well, I drop them to school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays I'm on dialysis, so I
Right.
can't take them.
Okay.
But Tuesdays and Thursdays I drop them to school, and every day I pick them up.
Mhm.
And I enjoy it.
Yeah.
How was your day was the first thing that I ask them when I pick them up, and I check their homework, and I do everything to make sure they are from an academic point of view they're okay, and also hanging out with them as well.
Right.
Even if I have to go to work, I get them to work with me.
Right, and that's something else I do too.
Yeah.
Because like on a night shift or whatever, at the hotel at night, sometimes I'm able to carry them.
Yeah.
I'll let them play basketball or go in the pool or the hot tub. But it gives me time, to spend a little more time with them.
Yes.
Right, and I
Yes.
know that's important.
Yes.
How important it is to them because sometimes they look forward to that. I have to tell them, okay, listen, I can't take you now. Because I have to ask permission.
Yeah.
Can I bring them up? Can I bring, just the boys?
Yeah.
To play basketball, to play tennis, or
Yeah.
whatever. And this is the time I use for that conversation.
So, do you have a big vehicle?
Yeah.
You have a big vehicle?
Yeah, I have a SUV.
Okay.
Always have an SUV for that main reason.
Okay.
Just to take them back and forth.
I want to ask you this question. I don't know. I'll ask you anyway. When you see mothers are raising their children, they normally get some sort of support from the fathers. They go to court actually, and the judge or the court will order the fathers to pay so much per child per month.
Right.
Are you getting financial help from the mothers of these children?
No, I don't ask for it. And
So you're doing really?
no, I don't. Right, I don't. And one of them, she have 6 kids for me, and I mean every time she would take me to court. Every time.
Prior to them coming to stay with you?
Right. She would take me to court, and because I work in 2 jobs, and I didn't like the idea of her doing it because I don't know if she was doing it like out of spite, because I was doing what I can, but she just wanted like to put more pressure on me, in a sense. But she was like, oh, what you giving me is not enough. I know it's not enough, but I still try to assist in other areas. I will pick them up, I'll take them to school, even though I'm giving you child support. And at that time, I was paying $1,100 a month for her.
Wow.
And even though I was giving her that, I would still pick them up in the morning, and if they tell me they had breakfast, I'll stop by IGA,
Get
I'll get
breakfast.
breakfast for them, I'll put lunch in their bag, make sure they have it when they go to school. If the teacher needs something, hey, call me. If you can pick up your phone and call me. Whatever it is, I try to teach them, if they come home with something that I didn't give them, you're gonna have to take it back. You can't bring it, even if it's a pencil. Did I buy that pencil? No, where did you get it from? Oh, so and so gave. I told you not to take anything from anyone.
That's very good. I mean, upbringing.
Right, and that's the way I was raised. But sometimes, I mean, when I pull out, everybody's been looking.
They know who you are.
Right, because sometimes I take up 2 pocket space, for the amount of kids. And
okay.
when I pick up lunch or breakfast, whatever it is from IGA, I always get extra. Because sometimes I go there and meet other kids there, standing out the gate,
who didn't have breakfast,
who didn't have lunch. And I remember me growing up, sometimes I was that kid.
Yeah.
I didn't have it.
Wow.
So I try to,
awesome thing you're doing.
right, I try to, even when I pack their lunch, I give them extra lunch. I don't want you to go in anyone's bag, steal the lunch or whatever it is. If somebody asks for lunch or if somebody needs, you have an extra juice, you can give it to them. Because, like I said, I was that person, that child.
Right, you would like that. I can't remember you said it earlier. So do you cook then? Do you cook as well?
Oh yeah.
And so you cook every day?
Just about. Maybe one day out of the whole month, I'll take maybe just a day off.
Wow. And when do you cook? Do you cook early in the mornings when you return from work?
When I return from work,
afternoons?
It all depends. But normally I cook when I return from work.
In the afternoon, or the morning, afternoon shift.
Right. When I was, before, how my schedule was before, sometimes I would cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner before I go to work. So when they come home from school, it's already there.
Wow. What's your favorite meal? Or what is the kids' favorite meal?
Their favorite meal, this one here is, I don't eat red meat.
Oh, okay.
So I'll give it to them.
Oh, okay.
So for them, everything is either chicken or I only eat fish. If they want fish, my oldest son, he'll, hey Dad, can I have a piece of the fish or whatever? But I try to stay on the healthy side. I haven't eaten red meat since 1999.
That's a good habit to have, actually.
Right. I don't eat red meat. I don't eat fried food like that. I don't eat.
So you don't go to Sweet Teas for chicken for your kids?
Once in a while.
Okay.
Once in a while, I probably reward them with that, but no, I don't. I don't give them stuff like that. Sodas. If they get sodas, somebody give it to them. I don't do sodas.
The kids can be very, very healthy.
But I try to keep it, that way. But it's a struggle.
It is. Especially when they go to school and
Yes. So the juice has to be 100% juice or whatever the case may be. But I do a lot of cooking, cleaning. I wash, cook, clean, iron. The ironing, I mean.
So you iron in the evenings?
Yeah, that takes me about 2 to 3 hours.
You iron like once a week?
Once a week. Once a week because each child has 5 shirts. So
you iron all of their clothes, or some of the children help you with ironing?
Well, the older ones, my mom, she was like, sometimes you have to ask the kids, to help you. I'm getting there, but they're not quite there. So I do a lot.
And you want, like you said earlier, their presentation reflects on you as a parent.
Exactly.
You want to make sure when they go out, their clothes are ironed properly and neatly.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
Right. So my wife, she assists me in that area as well, because if I don't do the ironing, if she ironing, then I'll do the cooking or vice versa. But yeah, I do a lot of ironing.
Wow, that is amazing. Are you aware of any other fathers who are doing the same thing you're doing here in the Turks and Caicos?
Not quite. I mean, I know. I have friends that that have 1 or 2 kids, and they do that. Yeah. But them is the situation like. Because they're not in the house or the mom is still in the fields, even as years later, it's hard to interact the way they would like to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Someone was recommending me, in addition to you, someone was mentioning there's some fathers in Long Island, North Caicos, who are single fathers, and I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I want to do a part 2 on the series. I'll probably go to North Caicos, interview those fathers. But really and truly, you don't find that many single parents headed by a father.
Right.
In Turks and Caicos and probably in the world. Most times, it's the mother.
Right. And people who recommended me, that's people who know me because I don't go around bragging on what I do. So you have to know me personally to know exactly what I do. but I don't go around bragging about it. I don't want to take credit from their
Right.
moms or whatever the case may be. But like I did assist in, hey, if I school open, I mean, uniforms are not cheap.
No.
So if I go to them,
Uniforms are not cheap at
right.
all.
And one situation, one of them, she's like, listen, I have $50. This is all I have. Okay, I understand. But I can press you. You know what it is. So I'm not gonna press you like the other one. Hey, you need to do this. I need this. And the table's turned. I can put you in court now, but I wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't do that?
No, I wouldn't do that.
So you have your own house?
Yes. And speaking of that, I mean, I'm in phase 2. I've been there 10 years.
Okay.
And one of my kids is the reason why I went and got a house. I was staying in 5 Keys at the time with my brother. My brother, he wasn't here. He had an abandoned house in 5 Keys with just a roof, the windows, no doors. And I decided to, fix it up. And I was staying there, 1 bedroom, but it's a 2 bedroom, but I was on one side because he decided to come back. And the room is so small, I would go and get my kids on the weekend, and Sundays I would take them back. But this one son I have, every time I take him back, he would cry.
Oh, wow.
I'm pulling out the yell, I'm in tears.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I want to stay with my daddy. I want to stay with my daddy. And this Grammy have to hold it. And I was like, you know what? I don't want this to happen again. So I made the sacrifice. I put the money together, and I decided to get a low-cost home. I didn't want it because I wanted to get land and build something.
Right.
But I just needed to get something right
away.
Right. So
that's a good investment.
Right. He motivated me, to move forward with that. I've been there 10 years now.
Yeah. So what is your plan for your kids? I mean, not every child will go to college. Because college is not for everybody.
Right.
But are you able to, set aside some funds for college funds for your children? Are you able to do that?
Right, but one of the moms, she have an account set up, for them.
Okay.
And me and my wife, that's something that we putting together now. We have a separate account. And my oldest son, he's 18, he just finished school here, about to go on his tomorrow. He's supposed to start a job in July.
Oh, awesome.
And stuff like that.
Awesome.
The first thing in his mind, I'm going to buy a car.
That's all the kids are, honestly.
I said, no. I said, you're going to work, you're going to save your money. You don't get comfortable there.
No.
You're going there, you're making your money, you're saying you want your car, yes, you can get it, but when you go off to school.
Yeah.
Right. And my father, he will assist me in that area.
Okay. So you have a plan, basically.
Right. Right, and that's the plan that I have for him for now. So as I guess as I cross that bridge, I will have to make different adjustments because everybody's different. Everybody will go a different route.
Yeah, of course. Now this is a personal question I want to ask you. Because people watching this show and it already happened and children are gifts from God.
Yes.
But why 15 children?
It wasn't planned. I didn't have it planned, but once they're here, you can't send them back.
That's true.
Right. So me as a father, I had to just step up to the plate and take care of my responsibilities. It's not just financially. You have to be there in that child's life, emotionally as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it goes a long way. Yeah, you can give the mother this or buy that.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
No.
It's not the same. I mean, if you use my father and you come to pick me up from school and you give me one candy, that candy would outweigh any other thing you did, whatever that
is
I did. Right.
That is true.
Right. So that's what I try to do. I try to keep them on the right track. The school have to call me for something, whatever. Right, I'm there. If I have to discipline them, I feel like, as a father, like I feel in that area. So when I get a chance, I'll pull them aside and I'm like, hey, what happened? Why did you do this? Or what? But I told you this, and well, Daddy, this, and you will be surprised at the answers you get.
Yeah. Now, I mean, raising, I have, my wife and I, we have 5 children, as I mentioned earlier, and we only have 1 daughter and 4 sons. We have 7 twins. And so my kids were telling me that my daughter's the favorite. Say, oh, she's your princess, she's the favorite. She gets everything you want. Now, we have 11 children.
15, 11 in the house.
But 11, so you're 15, 11 staying with you. Do you find that happening in your house where some of the kids think that some of their siblings are more of your favorite than they are? I mean, and how do you deal with that?
I don't hear it like from the kids, but I get it from friends and family.
Really?
Yeah, oh, this one is your favorite. No, this one. Oh, it's this one.
Okay.
So back and forth. But for the kids, I never hear them say, okay, well, I'm the favorite, or he
Oh,
thinks
that's
you're the
good.
favorite.
That's good.
Right, because I try to, treat them equally. Sometimes, if they have chores.
Mm-hmm.
If this one have to clean the kitchen and I have something, an extra chocolate or I'll give it to this one. So
you reward them
Yes,
for,
I always reward them.
for doing their chores.
Yes.
That is great.
Right, I reward them, but I try to explain to them, don't always expect an award.
Okay.
Right, because
Okay.
this is something that I want to teach you,
Yeah.
like how I was
Okay.
raised.
Yeah.
So don't expect a reward every time.
That's good.
Right.
That's
So
good.
with some of them, they'll be like, "Oh, Daddy gave this one that. He didn't give me none. I cleaned the dishes twice." That's the type. But I hate him,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, okay, well, next time I guess I'll have to get this one something.
Yeah.
Because I don't always have it there, but when
Yeah.
I do, I'll
Yeah.
reward them.
Tell us, raising children is a challenge.
Yes, it is.
Even with a nuclear family with both parents in the home.
Mhm.
And so I can imagine that being a single parent is a challenge. What are some of the challenges that you face in being a father in a single home? And what do you do to overcome those challenges? How do you address those challenges?
Some of the challenges are like you say, you have one daughter, I have 6. With girls and boys, it's different.
That's true.
It's different.
That's true.
So some of the challenges I have with them, the boys, they just out there.
Mm-hmm. Boys are different from girls.
Yes, they just out there. But with the girls, if they feeling a certain way or whatever it is, they won't come and tell me. So I try to, talk to them, hey, I'm here. If you need whatever it is you need, if you feel a certain way, if your body is changing or whatever the case may be, if you have to come to me, sure, you can come to me with whatever it is. Or I will have a female friend, hey, well, my daughter came to me with this. How do I go about it? They will, even if they mom, if I can reach her or whatever the case may be, because in some cases I don't always get them. But if it's an urgent situation, I will go to a female friend, just to ask for that advice and how to go about it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And what are some of the great things about being a parent? What are some of the things that make you so, happy to be a father? I mean, what is it?
Is when you come home and they greet you at the door and they be like, "Oh, Daddy's here." It's almost, I can't even put it in words. It's like being a superhero, and
Okay.
once Daddy's here, they're
Yeah.
safe.
They feel protected.
They're safe. They feel protected because even my boys that are 14, 15,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm out at work, they'll call me, "Hey, Dad, when you coming home?" It's like, "Why are you calling me?"
Checking on you.
No, not checking, but they'd be like, "It's getting dark," or I'm scared.
Oh.
I have one of them, he'll call me, "I'm scared," and then I'm like, "There are 11 of you in the house. Why are you calling me? You're scared."
Mm-hmm.
So from that, I pull him aside and I'll explain to him, "Okay, you listen, you make sure the doors are locked, you make sure of this. If this happens, you call this one. There's a police officer across the road. If you can reach him, he will come even quicker than I can. So if something ever happened and I'm not here, he's there. You can always reach out to him and he knows how to get to me. But always try to reach out to the persons that, that's closer to you, in a sense, yeah."
So what advice do you give to fathers? There are some fathers who are just sperm donors. They're just having children. They, and they're not there in those children's lives. There are some fathers who are just paying the child support and not checking for those children. And there are some fathers who really cannot see their children because the mothers, because of the relationship the mothers have with them, she didn't allow them to have a relationship with those children. What advice would you give to those fathers in those three categories we just talked about? The ones who are just sperm donors, the ones who are just giving the money and not give the child. I guess there's sperm donors too, I don't know. And the sperm donors are the ones who just they don't even do financial support at all. They don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
And then the third category is the ones who really can't see their children because they're not allowed.
Okay, for the sperm donors, what I don't like about that, because they call themselves fathers. You didn't do anything. You don't check. You don't do anything. And for them, I think before you go out there and call yourself a father, you have to step up to the plate. Go out there and assist. It don't have to be financially. You can, even if you take them out, take them to the beach, sit down and play a video game with them. They will remember that more than anything. Just don't be out there praising, oh, I have this daughter, and you don't even know her favorite color.
It's true.
What's her favorite color? What's her favorite food?
It's true.
You don't
know anything about that child.
Anything other than you have a child. You probably don't even remember the birthday. And they use the term, the gift of life or whatever. As a father, I think you're supposed to become that gift. You become the gift to that child. Not just, oh, okay, well, I buy him a bike for his present. You buy the bike and you didn't even deliver it. Your friend came and set the bike out. If you buy a bike, you have to put it together. You and the child, you come together, you put the bike together, and that's the same thing my dad did with me. And I will never forget it. I was about 6 years old. And we sat down and we put that bike together. And that's something, it stuck with me for years.
Yeah. And that's how you build a relationship.
Exactly. So there's a lot of little things, but the fathers out there who would go and invest in a vehicle or just sit down at the bar, you don't even know if your kid eat for the day or what if they have lunch for the following week. But you out there and you're buying everybody drinks at the bar. Make sure your child or your children in some cases have what they need. Find out what they need.
Yeah.
And if you ask, you'll be surprised because it's probably less than what you even think you should give as a father.
Yeah. Do you have any closing remarks? We've come to the end of the show. Are there some things that you think we should cover? That we didn't say? Anything you want to add?
Well, for the fathers out there, but for the mothers, most especially single mothers, if you're raising boys, they say in some cases a woman can't raise a man. I was raised by a woman.
That's true.
You see, so don't believe in that, but at the same time, if you have someone who can assist you in some areas, like I say, an uncle or even your pastor, you can go to the church or find out. Just ask for, just ask for help in certain areas that you cannot assist in, because you can't teach that boy how to be a man, but you might have an uncle or a brother, that can help in that area, right? Because I had a lot of people, in my years that came up and helped me in certain areas that I'll never forget, But, in a positive way.
Yes.
And I'll never forget it. Other people, I was going to school down here. My mom at the time, she didn't have a ride. I had to walk from Clement Howell to Spark Plaza.
Really?
Yeah. This was like 95. And
wow.
Yeah, and it was called Honda Road back then.
Yes.
And it wasn't paved.
Yeah, wow.
Right, so the lady next door, which was from North Cape, as Union, she would take me to school. She would ask me if I have lunch, and we maintain that relationship to this day.
Yeah.
You know.
I understand that feeling of neighbors.
Yes. So I will never forget her for that. Her and her husband, Kenneth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and after I moved to the States and I came back here, she was the first person I came to look for.
That was great.
So, you know, she have my number, we still communicate, she still tell people, you know, hey, I'm the second mom. You know, so people like that, you know, you have random people that help you, you know, along the way.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I can attest to that growing up with them. So Kate was the same thing.
Right.
Well, thank you again, Mr. Capron.
Glad to be here.
Appreciate it. You've been listening to the Drexel Seaman Show, where we encourage you to rise up and take your position. Today, this show is with Mr. Capron, a father of 15 children, and whereby he's raising 11 of them physically in his home. And as I said at the beginning of the show, you know, most times you hear about mothers being, you know, single parents. And this is my first time actually having a conversation with a single father. And I'm grateful for this opportunity. And Mr. Capron has, you know, children of very different ranges of ages. And he's able to, you know, raise those children. And he has assumed the responsibility as a father. You know, he took those kids under his roof and raised them. And many fathers out there are not doing their job. You know, we have the women raising boys, you know, and it's okay if they do. There's nothing wrong with that because the Capron was raised by his mom. But it'll make such a better environment in place that fathers could play their role in raising their children. Even if they can't be full-time, be more, you know, active in raising your children. It makes a difference when both parents are involved in raising the children. Even if you and that mother, you know, don't have a good relationship, it's not about the relationship with your mother. It's about your child. So rise up, fathers, and take your position. I'm sure Mr. Capron will be willing to help you and guide you if you don't know where to start. And I hope that this shows the beginning of something with fathers who rise up and take your position. Thank you for watching the show.